Hello guys, and our Russian geography lessons continue, same as New Year fireworks on the Russian military objects and gas and oil refining facilities. So today we will travel following the Storm Shadow missiles to Oryol region, where they neutralized a big arsenal of Russian Shahed drones. And then we will follow brave Ukrainian drones that targeted Russian gas and oil refining factory in Volgograd, the one that belongs to Russian Lukoil. And it is not just another important step to demilitarize and defeat Russia, it is also a vivid illustration that Russia is super vulnerable, totally unprepared to defend itself as a classical bully. And if we want to achieve lasting peace in the world, we should use this opportunity and at least lead to the collapse of the Kremlin and imprisonment of Putin and all war criminals. We can do it. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the demilitarization and defeat of Russia and also protect yourself against their evil hybrid warfare, subscribe. We discuss all of that on the channel. And we start with our favorite Russian geography lessons. There are two locations that we can study today, and number one of them is a huge Russian Shahed maintenance and arsenal facility. Well, it was located in Oryol region, the one that Ukrainian drones often visit, but not this time, because Russians did everything to protect this arsenal. They realized they need it, they kept lots of drones there, and they also used it for some modifications, repairs of these evil instruments of war. And this arsenal was made of iron and concrete, thus protecting it from minor explosions. But it is not a problem if you have Storm Shadow missiles. Thank you so much, our dear partners, for letting Ukraine defend itself. Because, and here comes an important reminder, we witness lots of war crimes that Russians commit online too. And many of you saw these heartbreaking videos of what they call human safari, for example in Kherson, that is closely located to the front lines, the cities that was liberated by Ukrainian armed forces after a brief occupation in 2022, but they keep targeting civilians with drones and they actually enjoy it. They train Russian drone operators on Ukrainian civilians, chasing people near supermarkets, chasing buses, marshutkas, if you know what that is, like civil transport. That is insane. So every time we are able to destroy a Russian arsenal of Shahed drones, of missiles, we actually save thousands of innocent lives. And I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity that you give us together with Storm Shadow missiles. So despite all the efforts, despite iron and concrete, these evil kamikaze drones went to hell, where the majority of the Russian army is. Actually, it's insane how many people they lose, and not just Russians. Now North Korean soldiers join them. Heartbreaking stories if you read some of North Korean soldiers' diaries. I was actually surprised to learn they keep them, but perhaps the answer is they don't have internet in North Korea, they don't have a possibility to speak with their relatives, to write to their relatives, and they record the memories and reflect on their life in North Korea. And oh my God, people, this is another reason to defeat authoritarian regimes. Believe me, after the collapse of the Russian Federation, similar regimes will collide and disappear. This domino effect actually has already started in Syria. Remember to subscribe to see Putin in The Hague, and also to protect yourself against evil Russian messages that they keep spreading on different social media and everywhere. And please share these videos on your social media platforms. You can find me on X, Threads, Blue Sky, Discord, and Instagram. All the links are in the description of this video. And we continue with another geography lesson that takes us to Volgograd region. And Ukrainian drones visited, it's not the first time, maybe the second time, visited Korobkovsky gas and oil refining factory. I had to Google it because I typically like to learn more, and it is a really big facility, one of the very important for the Russian military machine in this region of Volgograd. It belongs to Lukoil, which is another bloody sponsor of the Kremlin. And even on their Russian Wikipedia page, they already have updates about this Ukrainian drones visits and serious fires that they cause. One more reason to protect Wikipedia. I've heard Elon Musk is quite aggressive against it. Let me know what do you think about that in comments below. But in general, it's quite effective to target Russian oil refining industry because, first of all, a little cigarette, typically someone smokes there, according to Russian local authorities, causes serious fires and, most importantly, paralyzes Russian oil and gas industry. And we all know that, first of all, it is a main branch of income for Russia. They are dig and sell economy. They don't produce anything. They don't sell services, creativity. They simply sell their natural resources that they exploit, and mainly not even classical Russian, but of other republics that are temporarily suppressed by the Kremlin. And they also use it as a form of blackmail with other countries, and we clearly see it right now with Moldova and the temporarily occupied again by Russian forces, Russian money, Transnistria. Gas is always used as an instrument of blackmail, and I'm very happy for those countries in Europe and around the world that managed to liberate themselves from dependency on Russian energy. Believe me, it is not because of war, it is not because of Ukraine, as some may report. It is the greatest gift that your governments and your countries can give to themselves, to be free from Russian energy resources. Because first of all, they always use it to get something from you. And it's not money, it's worse. It's just like different types of blackmail, interference, making political decisions that are actually bad for your future generations, disrespect to environment, and many other things. Trust me, I'm Ukrainian, and a big part of very absurd, brutal demilitarization of Ukraine took place in the end of 90s, at the beginning of 2000s, because of Russian gas blackmail. They were raising prices unpredictably. They were negotiating with politicians that, okay, for that gas price, we want, for example, our Black Sea fleet to stay in Crimea. And you all know that because of the location of Russian military bases in the Crimea, it was so easy for them to hijack the peninsula and later annex it. And no, there was no referendum because there were gunned people standing there with already prepared answers on the voting papers. So it's obvious that if you can be free from Russian gas, from Russian electricity, from Russian oil, please be. Even if it is more expensive or demands some changes in your infrastructure, this gives you freedom from one of the craziest war criminals in our time. Maybe after the collapse of Putin regime, potential dissolution of Russia, there will be other independent and more negotiable countries, and the gas and oil will remain in that lands. But never agree to trade freedom, your lifestyle, for the sake of gas. And I know you know that, but please help spread the message. I've caught a cold in this brave but quite cold capital. I don't know if you can hear it. When I was younger, I believed that when you have a cold, your voice sounds sexier, but not always, especially if you cannot pronounce some complex words, so I'm sorry for that. Please follow me on social media, check our merch shop for lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, making me feel more confident, braver, and more ambitious in my projects. I'm very grateful for having you in my life, and for all our community that stands against the evil. We feel that in Ukraine. We are very grateful, and we will win together. Slava Ukraini!